Hey everybody, welcome to DITAWORLD. My name is Bernard Aschwanden. I'm the EVP of Sales at Precision Content. With me is Sebastian from Mayo Clinic. Sebastian, you want to do your quick 10-second intro?
Yeah, hey everybody, Sebastian Fuhrer, Director of Content Engineering and Operations at Mayo Clinic. Here to talk about Mayo Clinic's content transformation and our use of AEM guides and sites. Really excited about that. But hey, Bernard, we're virtual, right? We're not live.
Yes, we are.
That means we have the power of editing.
I have a weird echo in here, buddy.
Hey, let's bring a little joy with the power of editing. Let's use our superpowers and change some outfits really quick, real fast. Do you have that power?
Good. You have that? I do indeed. Take it away.
I'm going to snap my fingers. When I do, we're going to change outfits. Let's try it. 3, 2, Perfect. 1.
Not bad. Not bad. But, I mean, we're looking good, but maybe a little somber.
Yeah, we can do better. All right. I'm going to go again. Here we go.
Dude, awesome. I think I went too Vegas, too casual.
I think I went full Miami and way too much color.
Not good.
Let's try for some...
Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not wasting a martini. All right, I'm ready.
Ready? Let's do something more serious, more professional.
Yeah, professional, movie quality style.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. I think we're in the wrong movie.
Yeah, and I got the total wrong Iron Man, and neither one of us is Tony Stark. You got to do something about this, Sebastian. We got to get going.
We got to make it more professional. This is the wrong kind of professionality. You know what? I've got the Infinity Gauntlet here. I was going to pick the Time Stone to get us back on time, but you know what? I think instead I'm going to try and pick the Mind Stone to get us a really great performance. So I'm going to drop that in, and we're going to snap. We'll hope 50% of us don't go away, and that we get the outfits.
Reuse. I had something I can work with.
Oh yeah, let's make sure we reuse something from the previous outfits, because that's what DIT is about. And let's try something blue, because Precision is blue, Mayo Clinic is blue, just like the brand new header that the Center for Digital Health released on mayoclinic.com. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
All right. Sorry, Vegas hangover. We don't need the martini anymore. Nice. We got the colors.
Blue.
The logo. So basically, if you think about it, we did a little bit of reuse. We got the color, we got the right style, we've got the right, it's like with DITA, right? You want to reuse content. Yeah, there was this outer shell in this presentation layer, but it's still us. It's still us at the heart of it, delivering this message. So again, it's very DITA. So all yours.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Mayo's content. It's interesting you mentioned that at Mayo Clinic, one of the ways in which we're using DITA XML is to remove a lot of the explicit CSS styling experience from our content, and to turn those into DITA specializations that are channel agnostic, so that we really can take the same content, Sebastian, Bernard, and spit it out. And it depends on where you're at, the context you want, and you can wrap that presentation layer on any of the content and create once, publish everywhere. So before we get rolling on that, let's take just a minute to listen to these words, inspiring words from Mayo Clinic, and then we'll set the tone and get into the nitty gritty. All right, here we go.
There's a couple of things I just want to take a moment and talk about how some of the content from Mayo Clinic helped me really change my life on a personal level, if I may, for just a moment here.
Sure.
I was hospitalized back in November, and for those who know the numbers, my blood pressure was give or take around 250 over 120. That's bad. So I was in the hospital. I had no idea what's going on. I was terrified. That was the first link, the first thing that showed up when I did a search for the phrase blood pressure 250 over 120. And it said a hypertensive crisis is a medical emergency. It can lead to heart attack, stroke, or other life-threatening health problems. So I'm sitting in a hospital. The doctor looks in. I'm bleeding. I can't stop it. I don't know what's going on. I look at this. I start reading it. The doctor looks in and says, "What are you doing?" Because I'm sitting there on my phone, and I looked up and I went, "My own research." The doctor's response was a little bit of a shock, but I explained. I said, "Look, one of our customers is Mayo Clinic, and their content helps transform the way people live their lives." And I read through this, and it started to set my mind at ease, because this was a trusted source. This was a place I could go, and I knew that what I was reading was vetted and was right. And that's something that you've done, Sebastian, you and your team and everybody at Mayo Clinic. So let's talk about your content a little bit. If you want to kick us off, go for it.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that personal story. And I just want to say I've done very little except for help think about how we might do more with our content. As you said, that content already exists out there. Incredible editorial staff at Mayo Clinic authors that content, subject matter experts review that content, and our teams in IT publish that content. It's out there already. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we make it even better, and our focus is mostly going to be on the backstage. All right, here's our main presentation, the best of both worlds, why Mayo Clinic chose Adobe Experience Manager guides. I'm going to pull you guys a little closer, and we're going to hit it. So before we can tell you where we're going, it's important we tell you where we were. Mayo Clinic chose AEM guides and AEM sites after a rigorous RFP process across Mayo Clinic's enterprise. We chose the system predominantly because we were looking for a way to move to DITA XML and use a CCMS, but we also knew that we needed a powerful web delivery platform. Spoiler alert, that's the title, the best of both worlds. We were able to get both packaged together. AEM Guides was the artist formerly known as the XML add-on and recently rebranded as AEM Guides. We bought it as XML add-on. It had what we needed. It moved our authors into the system. It came with an editor in a CCMS. Sites had what we needed to build web components. So that's where we were. Where are we now? We are working with content creators to move them out of authoring in Microsoft Word and into authoring in AEM Guides. We are moving a lot of content from the current CMS into a highly structured componentized content, focusing on engineered content models, a lot of structure around the content to push people into AEM Guides. We have a lot of existing solutions. We have a very powerful knowledge graph that our ontologists use to build controlled vocabularies and metadata that supports aboutness of the content. We have our media stored in a Mayo Media Asset Manager, and we need to translate. A lot of our content is translated. We need connectors. All of these have been wired into AEM. Additionally, we talked about create once, publish everywhere. I attribute that saying to Jay Maxwell, our senior editorial director. I think he said it came from NPR, but he says it a lot. The acronym there is COPE. The ability to take a single piece of content and publish it to multiple endpoints or multiple channels is something that we have built and created in AEM. This gives us the ability to publish to web, print, our electronic health record, and to our syndicated clients. Moving forward, just a little bit more about who consumes the content. Mayo Clinic's driving principle is the needs of the patient come first. In this case, physicians manage the content that goes to patients, but patient content is one of our huge, patients are one of our huge consumers of our content. Next, we have our business-to-business clients. We support over 70 global healthcare clients that purchase our content that's licensable, and they reuse it in their content management systems. Finally, we have health information seekers. Those are the folks like Bernard who go out to mayoclinic.org and look at our content, which is free as we're a nonprofit. Moving forward, a little bit about our background. So the IT engineers are incredible at Mayo Clinic. Our staff of product managers, product owners, and our designers in the Center for Digital Health are amazing, and our editorial staff, our content managers, our ontologists, our content engineers, all coming together with Mayo Clinic to help transform our content and move it into AEM. But we couldn't have come here without the help of Publicis Sapient, who helped focus on our solutions architecture. They focused heavily on implementing the outputs and publication capabilities and precision content. Hey, there's Bernard again. Their team has helped us focus in on how to structure our data, how to think about specializations, focus in on native PDF, and how to create new content and other things. And we'll talk more about that as we progress.
Yeah, and thanks again. I mean, our team had a blast working with your people. It was really a cooperative type of an environment, and I mean, we learned so much about how Mayo Clinic does what it does, and I think everybody came away with just one of those positive experiences that you really want in order to leave that favorable feeling of being able to move forward with success. So thank you to you and your team.
Absolutely, our pleasure, and thank you. Mayo Clinic content today, it is authored predominantly in Microsoft Word. It is then moved into the CMS where it's really authored again in HTML. The different libraries, things are structured differently. Style and experience is wound together in there. It's very difficult to search across the systems, especially for editors. There's no system of record, system of truth. Is it in Word? Is that the true piece of content? Or is it the CMS? Is that the true piece of content? Those are challenges for us today. We do an incredible job. The team's doing an incredible job producing the content, the high quality content, like the content that Bernard looked at. But we know we can do this better, especially backstage, and optimize for backstage search, mature reuse, and consistent workflow so that we have enforceable governance and standardization across the system. So recently, we had a visitor come to Mayo Clinic and ask me this question: why invest in content engineering and structured content? Why bring editors into the CMS? And they felt that that was a challenge. That was Christina Halverson from Brain Traffic. My answer was, we believe our small but mighty staff can absolutely stretch and move themselves into a CCMS, that small operational footprint, if supported the right way by engineered content models, gives us the ability to move into a single source of truth and to change the way that we work. We know we also need change management to support that, but these are critical for us to scale up and take that small workforce and move them into the future. A little bit more about that. Each of our content organizations are small and mighty. We have an existing knowledge graph. It is very nimble and flexible. However, it's going to be even more powered up when it works with componentized content, and we're focusing on that even today. Annotations not at the holistic level, but at the individual fragment level. The current CMS interweaves content and experience together. That makes it very difficult to get it out. That means you have to unwind it depending on your channel. We want to change that. Authors expect a word-like experience. They're going to get that with AEM guides. They already are getting it. Mayo wants to improve version control. We want to optimize for translation. We know that Data XML is excellent at that, and we want to optimize our backstage reuse. The out-of-the-box system, the search findability, and the ability for Data XML to tell you where something is being used through a content reference, etc., is very powerful, and we're super excited about that. One last thing, the content that we produce, the majority of it is long-form narrative content that is medically credible. That means it has supporting evidence, bibliographic references. Those would not have the value that they have without the experts in the practice, our doctors and physicians that review that content. Here's a picture of Dr. Pruthi, our medical chair of our organization. I tried to find a frowny face for her, but I don't think she ever has frowned in her life. But in the current environment, it is challenging. There's burden on the subject matter expert reviews because the same change to content comes from multiple areas. Most of the workflow comes through email, and you can see Dr. Pruthi, even though she's still smiling, has to review a lot of the same things. We know we can improve this. We know we can improve it with AEM guides. There's an out-of-the-box word-like track changes, review experience that we're focused in on. We hope to decrease Dr. Pruthi's subject matter expert burden and have her smile more. Again, The credibility of Mayo Clinic is because we sit next to the foremost experts in the practice and probably in the world, possibly the universe, and their review of this content is what gives it its incredible credibility, along with our amazing editorial staff who are very familiar with this content, working with these editors. So something that differentiates our content that's important to call out.
And that credibility and trust, when I was in the hospital and I looked over and I said to the doctor, I'm doing my own research, and that moment of panic that was there from the doctor, sort of a, wait a second, are you reading somebody's Facebook posting? And then I explained Mayo Clinic. Literally, the doctor's face went from concern to sort of, and then there was this dismissive wave of, and he says, continue, and turned and walked out of the room. Sort of a, okay, you're doing the right things. You know who to trust, where to turn.
Awesome. Absolutely. So as we go forward, we knew we needed to build our foundation. That means Adobe products are enabled and supported. That means the integrations to existing systems or new systems are enabled and supported. That means we're starting to migrate the content out of the existing CMS and into the new one, that it's following engineered content models. That means that once you're in that system, content is findable, accurate, updatable, and reportable. And finally, that we can get that content out of the new system and deliver it where we need to send it. A little bit on this chart for Mayo Clinic's content transformation. We have a lot of key objectives. The ones I want to point out, we are moving 73,000 pieces of content out of the old CMS and into the new one. That's a lot. And again, reinforcing at the bottom there on the left, adopting standardized structured authoring with consistent metadata to drive reuse, consistency, scalability, efficiency, so that we can support the future of personalization. Whatever that orchestration engine may include, generative AI that the Center for Digital Health is envisioning for our future, we want our content to have the same style, tone, language, and be chopped up into smaller pieces so it can easily support that personalization at scale in the future. We believe AAM Guides is the right place to focus in on that. Okay. A little bit about the current CMS. You heard me say it's wound together. It truly is. It's a monolithic structure. It works very well, but we want to disentangle that when we do delivery. So we're moving into AEM. When we look at AEM, the way we think about it is three areas of primary importance. Content, especially that narrative long form, credible content that we talked about, will land in AEM Guides. Our media will be stored in AEM Assets, and our web experiences we will put in sites. Some of those web experiences could include content blocks or smaller marketing copy that lives in sites, but the bulk of content we believe will live in AEM Guides. AEM Guides, you heard us talk a lot about it. This is where our data is, provides a word-like experience. It allows you to mix and match and reuse content with intelligence, and from Guides we can publish out to web, to CD API, to our syndicated partners, to HTML, to our electronic health record, and to print. A little bit about sites, right? So this provides web creators with a place to create web-only content. Ours are focused in on React and SPA, building really cool experiences. The really fascinating thing here is that we can pipe from Guides, our data XML, we output that as JSON, lock them as components within the web template, and then marketers know that that's there and locked and trusted, but they can add in request an appointment experiences, clinical trial experiences, and others. So you can blend the content and then publish to the web. But the content downstream in Guides is produced and locked from there. So we love that mechanism from Guides to sites. All right, moving forward. You heard me talk about this already, but just reinforcing that as we move forward today, our editorial staff authors outside of the system in Microsoft Word. Tomorrow, they will author in the system, and we have a lot of teams already doing that now, testing that out, and we're excited to move there at scale. Around the create once, publish everywhere, there's COPE again. Here's a piece of content sitting inside of Mayo Clinic. If we land that in AEM Guides and we move it there, we focus in, and that content is data. It's got a data map, it's got data topics, it follows our structure. From there, if we want to publish into AEM sites, we can easily publish out of Guides. That content lands inside of the web template itself, And then we have our health information seeker sitting out looking at mayoclinic.org. When we're ready, we can publish that content, and that health information seeker can see that combined content with the data wrapped in web experiences. Additional clients are our B2B companies that repurpose our content. When we want to publish, we can take that same piece of content, look to your left there, this data XML that went to the web also goes up into our content delivery storage. It generates out in XML as a piece of content. It hits our real-time and bulk APIs and lands right in the CMS of a St. Clair's hospital or other hospitals that repurpose this content. Final audience is really the physician supporting the patient. I always say the physicians are the personalization of patients. They make sure that they choose the right context for what's happening to you as a patient, give you that content. There's two ways they can get it. They can go to the electronic health record, or they can pull it right off of a rack and provide a beautiful piece of printed content to the patient. Depends on what they're doing. But in the same piece of content, we can generate out. It can land in our electronic health record, and then the physician can access it that way. Finally, when we want to go to print, today we are print first, meaning we author everything in InDesign. We manage that print content. We translate twice. We translate the print. We translate the digital that we turn into HTML. We are going digital first. This data piece of content can go through the native PDF. It uses a low-code CSS3 page media to produce output. We can generate that output. Those PDFs go to the print shop, and they can then be printed out in beautiful saddle-stitch booklets that the physician can access and give. So you've really seen us illustrate here, create once, publish everywhere using data. And I think that's pretty cool. Data once, publish everywhere, pretty dope. You can see
that would have been a good echo moment. Dope.
That would have been a better echo moment. Here you can see all of the channels we hit. We hit web, we hit syndication, we hit the electronic health record, and finally we went to print. So what does the future look like at Mayo Clinic? This is inspired by work that Jay Maxwell and the content strategist at Mayo Clinic put together from lots of different places and lots of individuals putting in input. But content is foundational to Mayo Clinic's 2030 vision, right? 2030 content is standardized, it's structured, focused on a single idea, it's annotated, channel agnostic, person-centered, inclusive, and diverse. For us, success is 2030 readiness. That means a unified backstage, an environment where content creators and their colleagues have the skills and tools to create once and publish everywhere. And Mayo Clinic has the right content for the right person at the right time in the language and format of their choice. That means, again, this content has the right style, spelling, grammar, tone, reading level. All these things are there in reusable chunks. We can reuse them backstage, and whatever the personalization engine of the future looks like, which we're building, it will be able to scale and support that.
And Sebastian, I'm loving the fact that you've got that 2030 vision, right? 2020 hindsight, sure, but 2030 vision, you're looking forward to where you're going to be, and not just in a month or 6 months or a year or two. Is tradition at Mayo Clinic to always have this view into the future, to be thinking about where do we want to be and how do we get there?
I believe so. I mean, Mayo's been doing it the Mayo way for a long period of time. I only joined Mayo Clinic 3 years ago. It's been an incredible journey. The individuals that I work with are visionary. They're looking ahead. We're ahead on a lot of things already, the way that we use graph-based ontologies to annotate our content so that we can scale and support tremendously large, complex medical vocabularies like SNOMED that contain, I think, around 300,000 different terms. We have to keep up. The medical world is complex, so a strategy to manage that complexity is absolutely paramount.
I love it. I wish every organization was to do that, to have that long-term vision of the value of that single source of truth, of the right information, being able to trust your content. So very nice to see.
It's super nice to see, and I think there are a lot of other parts that are super important to the needs of the patient come first and the world of a world-class hospital. But that content is foundational, is exciting, and that our leaders see that importance is really exciting, and we are making this transformation to support that. All right. Let's talk about a little bit about precision content next and all the value that you've been bringing along. You focused in on data specializations with us, the Smart Map and Topic Generator, and the native PDF Publisher. So let's take a break and grab a drink, and we'll come back virtually in a second, and we'll be ready. Cheers to talk about some of these.
This drink.
There you go. Better. And we're back.
All right.
That was a quick break. Taking a hat. Let's get to it. So we talked about the PC work. Let's jump into it a little bit in detail here. So tell us about
specialization. Just for those who aren't familiar with it, the idea that DITA has these topic types, topic concept task reference, map, book map. It's a starting point, and a lot of organizations can use that starting point in order to create all kinds of content and do very cool things. But eventually, you may get to the same point that Mayo Clinic did, where you look at it and you say, look, in our specific circumstances, we need to go beyond this. We need to tighten up the rules. We need to take what exists and put together something that meets our specific needs. And this is something where the precision team got to work with Sebastian's team. So Sebastian, if you want to kick it off and tell us a little more about that, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll be really brief here, but spot on. Again, we talked about removing presentation layer details from our current content, stripping those out and putting them in smarter ways within DITA XML. Precision Content worked with us to add footnotes at the map level. A footnote element typically is only at the topic level. The way we structured our content model is really a map being equivalent to a whole delivery, and we needed those bibliographic supporting references to support the whole thing. Additionally, alternative title metadata was put in place. That allows us to support that create once, publish everywhere, or DITA once, publish everywhere dope. And it allows us to pipe out different titles on different sections depending on the context that we're delivering to. So had a great time working with Steve Manning from Precision Content. Nathan as well was a huge help on this, and really appreciate that work that you guys provided and laid the groundwork for us to solve how are we going to provide bibliographic reference for componentized content. And we have a really great solution for it. Jumping us forward here, we'll look at native PDF. Now, we mentioned that publication capability going digital first to print instead of print first to digital is a big part of our content transformation at Mayo Clinic. Tell us a little bit about the native PDF generator.
Yeah, so the native PDF, first off, if you're attending my other session, the one in which I talk about native PDF just long enough to say, go watch the Mayo Clinic session, then welcome. If you are wondering about that other session, if the video sequence doesn't make sense, we've already messed around with time and space at the beginning of this, so what's one more instance of it? But the native PDF, for those who have worked with the DITA Open Toolkit, Sebastian, I don't see a page on Mayo Clinic on how to deal with the trauma of Open Toolkit and trying to go in, find the source file, open it up, learn all of the programming and code languages required in order to actually go in and modify the OT, make the modification, recompile it, install it onto whatever system you're working with, publish, realize that you put the wrong hex value in for the color combination and you have to go back and redo it. Or in the native PDF where it's click and drop down a color next to a style, choose from the visual pop-up. What native PDF really provides is an integrated solution. So Adobe's taken sort of the best of their various technologies and pulled them together into one solution. And here what you get is a visual interface to go in and build and configure the look of your PDF. Customize your page layouts, your content, etc. And I think you've got samples to show.
Yeah, no, let's jump over there and actually look at this live and demo it, and we'll talk more about it. We'll see you there in just a second. I'm going to open that up, and through the power of editing, I'll see you in 2 seconds.
Editing.
Okay, we have AEM open, and we're inside of AEM Guides. We're looking at Mayo Clinic's consumer condition guides, and I picked Achilles tendonitis for us. Have it open over here in the author view. I'm going to double click so you can see the map editor. This gives us a lot of ability to generate and work with the content. Let's look at a preview of this content itself. I'm going to jump past all of our key definitions that we have at the top and go down to overview. Here we are. We've got the overview and we've got symptoms. There you can see an image. This just shows you a preview of the DITA XML content that authors use frequently. We are going to generate this. Let's say we're ready to go. I'm going to jump over to output. It's as easy as that to get to the native PDF once it's all set up. So Nathan Gilmore on the Precision Content team spent a lot of time with Vignesh and Mohan from Publicis Sapient putting together these amazing presets. These let us generate, if I want to generate a blue cover, I can click on that and it's going to start generating. You'll see it down in the bottom. While it does that, I want to show you a couple cool things. The templates themselves hold all the information for the type that we're looking at. I'm looking at the 8.5 by 11, and let's take a look at the style sheet for this one. Jump open and double click on the content. We can look at a style for an H2. We successfully generated that. We'll view that output here in just a second. I'm going to open it down here, but before we do, that was so fast. We didn't get to talk about it. I want you to talk a little bit about this tool. Before you do though, Bernard, I want to say for me it's exciting because we have front-end development teams. My dog is attacking my plug. This wouldn't be a real recording.
It's real. My dog's over here losing her mind because she just ate food. So it's dog o'clock somewhere.
It's like a clock somewhere.
I wanted to mention though, inside here, I mean, I've got some of my favorites, but some of yours.
Yes. Just really quickly, you can have a front-end developer working on CSS3, style sheets. Here you can see that very easily. You can look at that, develop it, and load it so that you're using the same styles for digital or HTML outputs as you are for print. Very powerful. All of these styles are loaded in here and created by front-end development teams. You can, however, also manipulate this as an author in this low-code way.
This is the one I love. If you don't like code, I mentioned earlier about using the open toolkit, and if you want to change the font color, just consider what you need to do to make a change in the toolkit. Here, you click on the font color pop-up and you pick the color and choose apply. You'll get to see an immediate change inside the document as well. The same thing if you want to go in and change things like the font size, or you want to change around your borders, your layout. All of those things are here in a visual interface, and kudos to the dev team at Adobe. This is really based on the engine in RoboHelp. If you've ever worked with RoboHelp, this is going to look familiar to you. And Adobe is practicing what we collectively preach in the world of DITA. They are, I guess, dope, right? Develop once and produce everywhere. They can grab the different pieces that they have, grab the components that they need, and put together into that product. They produce a solution that takes advantage of the best of Adobe. And that's what we have here.
We need standards and governance. We got to have one acronym to rule them all. So you can't reuse my acronym.
All right, I'll come up with something.
I do want to shout out to Vivek, the Divraj, Vivek especially. Got to meet the product team from Adobe in Vegas at Summit. Talked about some of the needs for us to save trees with our print materials, to do some really critical changes to the native PDF, and they're rolling that function out in June, July for us, right, already. So this is a product I think they're invested in, they're excited about, and so are we. So let's look at the generated output really quickly. We're in our test environment in AEM right now, not comfortable going out and demoing from prod, so we might not see perfection, but we see close to it. We see the cover sheet the way we would expect it. This can be printed up this way. We see our overview. We see what are the symptoms. Sorry for the bad scrolling. And there's that lovely Achilles tendonitis image.
Hang on that one for a second.
Sure.
While you were doing this, I went online. I had held this up earlier. I actually found the page where this information exists. And here's the symptoms and the image. So inside your environment, I'm guessing you're going to have things like causes and risk factors coming up, and risk factors might have bullets in the print version because I'm seeing it in your online.
Yep.
There's your causes.
There you go.
There they are.
Factors. Yep, absolutely. So same content going digital, coming out to print. Pretty cool. Okay. So we saw native PDF. Let's talk a little bit about our map and topic generator, which I think Adobe is calling Smart Templates, but Mayo is calling map and topic generator. A little bit about, so you saw us open up existing content. We have this Achilles tinnitus open. We saw us generate PDFs from it. We saw it on the web, on print, etc. When I want to create new in this system, because Mayo Clinic's content model is rather robust for this content, there's a lot of pieces here. Hey, Bernard, remember when I told you that we were a small but mighty organization?
Yes, indeed.
Remember when I told you that we wanted to take an authoring first perspective and make it easy for our editorial staff? And remember when I said we're moving folks with change management out of Word and into AEM?
Guides.
Yep. And remember when I said we're using precision content's expertise to make our life better?
They do indeed.
All of those things come together with the smart template or map and topic generator. And just to let you know, when I've done this a few times, you can come out and I can create a new map here. And I could then go down into my topics and I could reuse content from
drag and drop.
You could drag and drop out of these existing topics. There are many, many topics listed underneath each of these sections that live in this CCMS environment and get pulled into the whole. But if in order to do that, right, I'm going to come out here and create a new map.
And you got to put all the topics in the right order, right? Like I'm looking on the website here again.
And not only do I need to do it in the right order, but I want them to be empty with comments and helpful information so that they can follow the model, follow the structure for the holistic one so that they look more like this Achilles tendonitis right out of the bat. And then our staff can come in and just start populating them, right? And that's the
beauty. I'm guessing you don't want your staff to go in and have to think about, oh, first it's overview, then it's symptoms, and then it's risk. No, wait, then it's causes, and then after causes, there's that just shouldn't happen.
No, let me check this. No, we want it to be a wizard, a dynamic wizard that does it, and we want it extensible and scalable. We have more content types, many more content types than consumer condition guides. We want to scale this up, but we want to wait every time an author comes in and they click create new. I want them to be able to drop this down and pick the exact type that they want, not just a generic one that matches a DTD. So
you've already come up with a relatively powerful model in which you have the map, and then you have whether it's 5 or 10 or 50 or 150 things, and they have to be nested in a specific order. And some of those might be coming from existing material like legal or contact us. That's exactly the same always. And some of it might be a shell. And you don't want to go in and I guess manually go through here and drag and drop all of those bits and pieces from every single topic location that you have.
I want it to look like this, where it jumps in.
Smart templates.
It's a new map, but the template is pre-factored. Especially, we talked about engineered content models. That means we have repeatable patterns for how topics nest in maps per content type. That means we should be able to generate that template very easily. And then when an author goes in and starts to work in here, they can open up the topic and just start writing. That's what we want. So show me how that happens.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sebastian. So let's jump right into it. Joining us is Vina, part of our precision content team. She is our sorcerer supreme of all things AEM guides. AEM. There's too many for me to list offhand. Vina, I'll let you do your own introduction in a moment in regards to the skill set, but she's the one who took what Mayo Clinic needed, figured out how to make the implementation work, and that's what we're going to see next. So Vina, it's over to you.
Thank you, Bernard. Hello, everyone. Veena here. I'm a senior AEM dev at Precision Content. I bring expertise on various Adobe Marketing Cloud products, including AEM guides, sites, assets, and few more. So I'll quickly jump into the coolest feature that we have built for Mayo Clinic using smart templates. From repository view, let me jump over to templates on the web editor. And here we have created a template for Mayo Clinic suiting their content model, signed off by their IA team using the content pattern that is followed at Mayo. In the map template, if you observe, there are predefined lists of topic already referenced on the map. So all of these are going to come in when you create a new map using this template that we have built. For each of these topics, we have built a unique template as well, following the complex folder structure that Mayo repository has. So all of these will be created not only in a single instant, but also they themselves get placed in their own folders, suiting the Mayo's content repository view. So let me quickly demo that. Coming up here into repository view, create a new map using the template. And for a condition title, let me go with something cooler, which is known to everyone these days, buzzing around ChatGPT, slowly converting into a condition.
I plead guilty.
Guilty.
So as I click that, let's give a couple of seconds to bring up the new map that I've created. As you see here, I have just created one single map, but you observe a list of topics are already created and placed under map for me. This happened with smart templates. And all of these are placed in a predefined order. First goes overview and follows to the end. Not only this, it also places all of the topics into their original folders, suiting the content structure of Mayo Clinic. If you observe, the titles of topics are having some placeholders. They are not having the condition title injected into them. To do that, we have built another cool feature, which is tied to this simple icon on the toolbar. This is a customized icon we placed on the toolbar on the web editor. When someone clicks it, it does the cleanup in a second. Now you see all the titles are changed,
Nice.
which included the map title on the topics. There you go. With this, any content author can create any number of maps for infinite conditions with a single click. Not to worry about creating each and every topic at once, creating the same content structure over and over at multiple times.
And Veena, it's extensible, right, for different content types. So this is one of many, almost 50 different content types that Mayo Clinic is looking to create, and there'll be more in the future as we go. If we want to structure the content differently, we can build the template and then allow our editorial staff to select from the right template. It should then create the right backstage map, all the corresponding topics in the right folders, and they can start to edit. One call out too is right now I know this is empty, but Mayo Clinic, working with our content engineer, content operations, and editorial staff, plan to add editorial direction inside the topic itself as draft comments within the DITA markup, right? So that when you generate this, you also get direction on what content to create, what not to, how to use this template. So more on usage will be coming, but we're very excited about this function. Really appreciate the way that you've delivered this. Thank you.
Hey, Sebastian, this is like a plain canvas. You can paint all the colors in it. The way your content type changes according to the need, we can tailor the templates too.
Wonderful. So again, thanks, Sebastian, of course, but also a big thank you to a couple of people on our team, Nathan, Steve, Veena, for the work that you've done in order to make this happen, to the Publicis team that was involved, Adobe, Stefan, the work that you've done in order to pull together DITAWorld, and also behind the scenes, Vivek, Divraj, some of the things that you've managed to pull off, the miracles that have come together in order to create this content. Also, literal heartfelt thank you to Mayo Clinic. Again, the content you're creating impacts the way people live their lives every single day. So, speaking from my personal experience with the trust that I have in your content, it has made a difference in my life in the way that I deal with what I'm doing day to day. It gave me the confidence that what I had to deal with was not life-ending if I addressed it properly. And you gave me the ability to do that. So thank you. When I did my own research, that I was able to find your content. And Sebastian, again, thanks to you. Turn it over to you for any final words.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to share what Mayo Clinic is doing as they vision out 2030 content and beyond. Thanks to Precision Content, Publicis Sapient, Adobe for the help to get us there. Thank you especially to the Mayo staff, our executive sponsors, Jim and Radhika. All of the focus on content and our ability to build a better tomorrow starts with this technology layer, and it ends with the people and process coming together to build where we're going. And we're really excited about that. Hey, I want to try one last thing before we say adieu.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Aha, I got this back.
Oh,
one more snap. Let's try it. Oh, no. Sorry, Bernard. All right. Bye, everybody.